We're not crypto moon boys. We are cryptillians and crypto crackheads. You're about to get Timified. Today is Tuesday, March 9th. Got so many things going on. I had to look down at the computer monitor to remember what day it is. And this is your altcoin price action update. We're starting with BEPRO. I had actually recorded a snippet of the video when price was up here. Let's go to the 2 hour. It was really charging up, and I said, yeah, I give this a 30% chance of breaking through, and went down Y. And I said the most bullish case scenario, starting out with BEPRO, is that, well, this actually had gone above. So see this green part right here, where the junction is? That actually was up. So I guess it's still on the same candle. So when this price was way up here, this was up, and I had, so see this yellow trend line? I said best case scenario, now that the white line is curling up, I said the only way this is going to break through would be essentially a copy or a fractal of what had previously happened. I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. Let's see here. Yeah, last month, about almost exactly a month. So a fractal means price action mimics, and Stokes, stochastics, and RSI, a lot of things mimic, or perhaps on a percentage basis, a percentage run, right? So a lot of things mimic in a copy and paste fashion what is going to happen. So for example, this down here, when I made this trend line here for RSI, I said the way this would break through the all-time high, even though I think it's less than 50% chance, is if Stokes at the time, if you can cover up and imagine that the green line from here up doesn't exist, so you can only see from here backwards. I said the only way this will break through is if price, it'll probably ping down off of this green line, and you need it to stay above the white line, which is the moving average, and then it'll pop up, and then it'll break through. And guess what happened? It didn't stay above. So yeah, this isn't going to break through. This is probably going to range out. So this is the 4 hour chart. I can erase this trend line, it's not going to hold up. And you know, that candle, what this was, this big fat candle here, all these, this candle was folks going over Crypto R Us. He has 140,000 viewers. That's them market buying. And then this red candle might be a mixture of bots and people taking profits who snagged it down here, per this channel's TA, who decided to play with the 10 bag and take profits around here. So and the market sells were not strong enough to bust through this. So similar to that brick wall or the concrete wall analogy I used earlier, in order for price to bust through here, and which would coincide with the 4 hour RSI staying above the white line and allowing the white line to curl, and the green line busting through this horizontal green line where my cursor is here, this green line here that is as a red line, green line, in order for it to bust through that and to make a new high, which would coincide together, the market buy orders have to be strong enough to get through all of those sell orders. And so for example, if you have a concrete wall that thick, you need to break through it with whatever tool you're using. Let's say it's this thick, and you go, your hand gets bloody, you have to start resting, and you didn't get all the way through it. That means price goes back down. You chipped away, but you didn't bust through. So now you have to go take a break. And so if price were to stay right here, to take a breather and stay there without dropping, that the green line would have stayed above the white line to ping off of it, but it didn't stay above. So not only did it take a nap, but that concrete wall, it grew back like some type of bio concrete. That's kind of what happens here. So sometimes when price chips at it and it stays up, right, and then it tries it again, that is similar to putting band-aids on your hand, eating a quick snack, and going right back at it. But in this sense, because it was not the buy orders were not forceful enough to pound through it all at once, then the buyers, you know, who were hitting market buy, they stopped doing it. So it's not necessarily the selling pressure got higher, but the sell pressure that exists here naturally from people taking profits, from having caught dips, you know, who are playing a range, even though they aren't market selling, it's actually forming liquidity so that we can bust through. But the people clicking market buy, it wasn't enough to bust through it. So this price action is not necessarily representative of buyers becoming sellers. So because it did, you know, it's not coming down here, but what this means is the buyers just gave up buying and now price is ranging out. So there's an equal amount. So if you imagine like buoyancy in the ocean, you know, like a submarine, it finds buoyancy. It doesn't come up to the surface, it doesn't sink to the bottom, but it finds, you know, a buoyancy level. You know, this is kind of like buoyancy here. We're floating in the middle, which is still pretty healthy. And why is this healthy? Because we just set a new all-time high and we are flirting with it. You know, this is really good consolidation. It's consolidating at the top of the range, although it had a pretty, you know, for crypto this isn't severe, but you know, that's a 58% dip. So whew, that could be pretty drastic, but relative to where price was, it stayed way above during that aggressive dip. So 60% dips like this are pretty common, and if you've seen in my video, I think it was yesterday's SHA, SHA safe haven, which we'll cover here in a bit, it took a 60% dip, and I said that's pretty severe, but I guess I didn't realize BEPRO did the same thing. So, you know, that's just pretty typical after a big breakout that you go 200, 300%. I mean, you know, catching, and I think it hit almost, it dipped right under the daily 21. So flipping to the daily, you should see a wick through it. Yeah, so it wicked through, and it actually perfectly hit the simple moving average. So the stupid bots of KuCoin has tasked to this coin, they might be playing simple moving averages. That's to the dollar. So definitely make sure you have your simple moving averages on there, because the daily 20, that played out perfectly. I didn't see that. This is the first time seeing this. So that's what we got for BEPRO here. We're going to keep ranging, and you already know my thoughts on it. But let's just play around with time frames here just for a second, because when you're doing technical analysis, you don't just want to make a guess and go, right? Like, oh, this is the best case. You want the most probable case, which might not be a 50%. It simply is the most likely of all of them, and that most likely might only be a 10%. And all of the other possibilities together, each of those individually is under 10%, so therefore that 10% likelihood of one thing happening is the most likely, even though it's far from being probable, or over 50%, right? So in TA, you need to, like a pretty good rule of thumb is you need your top 3 likelihoods and then 2 what ifs. So you need to be thinking about 5 things, and here's why. It's because you need a game plan of what you're going to be doing for each of them, or you just need to be able to prepare your emotions, you know, watching your money go up or watching your money go down. So adrenaline versus cortisol, essentially. Actually, price going up, it's probably like oxytocin and adrenaline going through. And then going down, it's, you know, your cortisol type of stress response. But you need to have those what ifs and I guess 3 other likelihoods, even if that means down, because you are preparing your emotions for the very, you know, the most likely set of things that can happen. So, and the reason why that's important to do from an emotional standpoint is so you don't do something stupid. Because if you weren't expecting it, that would be a surprise. Humans act more, you know, when something's a surprise versus when it is expected, what type of response, you know, in humans is more, I guess, level-headed. It's when you're expecting something, right? So that's why you need about 5, and you need to be thinking about 5 possibilities, 3 being the top hitters most likely, and then 2 what ifs. And those what ifs, you know, they don't have to be the 4th and 5th most likely thing, because after about 3 you don't really know how probable they are. But those 2 what ifs, whether you're charting Bitcoin or anything, you need to be playing what bots might be doing to screw you. That's your 2 what ifs. You need them every single time. Now on a daily, you know, do you need to do that for like each day? No. You need about a month, weekly time frame. I would say, you know, by the week, you need to know how the bots might screw you, your 2 what ifs, and then the 3 top things that'll play out in charting. So that's kind of, that's what I do, and it works pretty well for me. Yeah, so looking at the daily, you know, this is pretty common to happen. Look down here at the RSI. Once you dip below, what happens when things range out is the RSI likes to come up. So the green line is the RSI, the white line is the moving average of the RSI. It's the 12-day average of it. The RSI, the green, likes to come up and touch the white. It checks it, and then it typically bounces off down. And then and that creates a negative slope. So see where my cursor's going? It could do something like this. Actually, I can draw a freaking line, can't I? Like that. It'd be more rounded. It'll create like a valley. But this white will come down close, maybe not quite to it, but it likes to come down close to it or even touch it as the green line goes like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then touches the red or the white, and that's when you get your moves. So RSI is a great way to look left, or is that, no, that's look left. The camera messes me up. You want to look left and see how your coin, so whichever one you're viewing, how it has behaved historically, because it could behave a lot differently. Similar to how I've said in my videos, each coin on each time frame, whether it's the daily or whatever. Let's look at the 4 hour here. So like on BEPRO, on the 4 hour chart, the Stokes have its own support and resistance level, and for this whole year, it's going to play the same level. So what's going to happen here on the Stokes? We'll look at the support and resistance where the horizontal white line's going up and down right here. You know, it's support, 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 kind of support, 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 resistance, 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 resistance. So, and it's been more support recently. Why? Because price has been going up, right? So, but anyway, now that it's gone below it, what do you think is going to happen? And this is another reason in the video that I'm not going to upload that I started, but I had to stop. I said, I think Stokes are going to come up and hit this resistance support line and curl back down. And the reason I think that is because the even though the 4 hour RSI has hit the red line, before you bust through, you know, I keep saying your indicators need to reset before you get a good move, right? Before you can't just keep going up. You have to reset to get some power, get a base, build a new house, that kind of stuff. And what needs to reset are things like your daily Stokes. It's the bigger indicator, your daily and weekly. It's Stokes, RSI, and moving averages. So to reset for moving averages, let's look on the daily here. What it means for moving averages to reset is, it's not really reset, it's for moving averages they need to catch up, but that's, you know, the same thing. They need to reset. Price needs to set itself on it and lift up off of it. So, you know, I really don't see this flying up until it'll either, this yellow line will either keep coming up like this, and price will ride it. So a lot of times it likes to ride it, or a lot of times it'll dip under, go over, dip under, go over, and then bam. And it might go bam right there because this blue line crosses the white line. I do anticipate that price action will respect this bottom blue line. And if there's a scare, you know, don't be scared until it crosses this one and stays crossed for several hours or a day. That's when, you know, price might come all the way back down here to 0.0023. But, you know, especially if price gets out to here, let's see, to the 22nd of March. I've said in earlier videos, when two important lines cross, price likes to get sucked into it, right? And it doesn't matter if that cross is above it, so it sucks price up into it, or if the cross of important lines is below it, so it sucks higher price down into it. Look at these two important lines. They're crossing. So our local trend of the bottom of the triangle with the bottom origin line. Okay, what also might be crossing though, in a more bullish scenario, is that the weekly 21 will be riding the bottom line. So because price will be like it'll just, I don't know, it's almost like it forms a black hole when two important lines are touching. So this is still in the concept of resetting. So I'll go to Stokes and RSI here in a minute. But in terms of moving averages resetting and catching up, how it works with price action is, if price action's way up here, it's flirting with the top, can't break through, it's going to be sucked into this. It just turns into a black hole. I don't know why. It just happens all the dang time. And it happens, and it also happens the other way. It can suck price up into it. So similar to the 4-hour death cross on Ethereum, like I've covered before. So so this is the daily. Things got to catch up here. And for the RSI daily, what it means to catch up is the green line needs to come down here and at least hit the white line. And usually by the time RSI hits the white line, it aligns perfectly with what else catching up? The moving average getting back up to price and price touching it. Like it just happens at the same time. And then also what happens with the Stokes. For some magical reason, it also aligns with the Stokes curling back down, and this is the daily chart, so it's a slightly different level than the 4-hour, to hit the support. Do you see where my cursor is? So the white horizontal line going up and down, that is perfect. I mean, at 44.5, it had perfect support, perfect resistance, almost perfect resistance, support and resistance. That's kind of a weird one. What was happening there? Trying to find a bottom, but it wasn't, so that makes sense. Resistance, sort of resistance, resistance, support, resistance. So, if you want to try to make a good guess on when BEPRO is going to be really hot and ready to rock and roll, it's going to be when those three things align on the daily. So since we're not using, really, you can't use the 2-hour and 4-hour anymore on BEPRO to make a good guess because they've already reset. So they're just going to keep staying low. 2-hour and 4-hour are going to all be low. See, like look how low this is. Look how low Stokes are. It's already, the moving average is already caught up. So the same thing applies on the 2-hour. So it's the RSI has already been touching the red. It's going to ride here. It's going to stay under the green line, ride. Stokes are finicky, so you can't really count that, but they're not going to be screaming up. So everything has already reset 2-hour and 4-hour charts. Now you just need the daily and the weekly to catch up, and primarily the daily. So when these three things, Stokes, RSI, and the moving averages for the daily all align and are caught up and ready for the next push up, all right, in a bull market. So this crap doesn't apply in a bear market. Bear markets suck. They're tricky. So most of my viewers are retail, like all is prosperity. So everything's bullish, So somebody asked me about Axiom or something like that on my last video in a commenter and said, am I bullish on Axiom? Okay, here's an answer. For anybody who asks me a question, and that's a good question, by the way, but if you're viewing this, future videos, you don't need to ask me if I'm bullish on something. Everything is bullish right now. Everything. This is how crypto works. It goes crazy up, and then it comes screaming down after about a year. And then it levels, it tanks slowly for 2 years, levels off for 1 year. So that 1 year in crypto land here was probably middle of 2019 to middle of 2020. Things were bottoming, making a rounding, and then it just starts I'm doing it. Am I doing this backwards? No, I'm doing it right. And then, so for a whole latter half, 6 months, so July to December of 2019, it was already found a bottom. And then through half of 2020, it kept the bottom. And then it starts screaming. So everything is bullish right now. That's how crypto works. And so that's why people who keep saying, this is a generational wealth coin. No, it is not. No, it is not. If you hold this past January, it's going to lose 70 to 99% of its value. So no, it is not. Now, it could be if you get into stable coins, earn interest, and then buy it back after it's rounded and gone up and made a higher low. That's your time to get in. You don't want to guess the low point, right? Because it's just going to come up and crash down harder. And you could have bought it at a better price. So you don't want to catch bottoms. You want to wait till it's rounded out, makes it, oh, you're getting excited. Oh, I should buy back. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. When things have bottomed out, it looks like it's bottomed out 20 times. But then it goes up and then it crashes lower. Then it goes up and then it crashes lower. And it's just taking people's money and getting people to buy and then watch their money drop another 50%, right? So you wait until you don't try to catch the bottom. So this is like for next year TA, right? You wait for it to come up, come down, make a higher low than what was previous to the left, and then it starts going up, and you could buy then, but it might peter out and crash lower. What the safest is, after a higher low, you look at what that previous local high was, which is still really low compared to its all-time high, right? You wait till it passes it, and then you buy the momentum. That's when you know it's over and price is going up. But anyway, everything's bullish right now. Everything's bullish, all right? So anyway, so catching up indicators. So on the daily, I've got Stokes catching up. So what it means for Stokes to catch up is these are going to curl back down and come here. And when it starts curling back up, it might do it twice. And honestly, I kind of expect daily Stokes. Let me see here. I think something like this. So look at this formation here. I think something like this is going to happen. Stokes are going to come all the way down. And I think though here, so see how price was hovering around the 21? I think something like this will happen, but more bullish. I think it'll stay above it and maybe dip below. So you can look here, the general candle body is below it, and that's kind of bearish. This must have crossed up because the weekly was crossing up. Hold on, let's look at, yeah, so the weekly was crossing up, that's why. So the price was above the weekly, so I guess that is bullish. I would have looked at the week. But if this weren't happening, if this weren't true, then on the daily, typically in a bear market, that means it's going to keep dropping because the general candle body is below the 21 and it's losing power, and it's just going to dip even lower on RSI, Stokes, everything. But anyway, so what I think is going to happen with BEPRO, the way it'll play out, if we can visualize it here with this fractal, I think it'll be similar to this. I think daily Stokes will come all the way to the white line, but I think price is going to generally stay above this. And honestly, in Bitcoin, sometimes it stays perfectly, especially with the weekly 10. It rides perfectly. No candles close under it ever, but they wick below, scare people, but they close above it. But what I think in BEPRO is you'll have like maybe 3 candles close below it, but generally most of the candle, the length of the candles will be above it. I think that's what's going to happen, and that is what is going to allow everything to catch up and reset. So I think Stokes will come all the way down here, and then I think that's going to align with the daily RSI hitting the white or the red or somewhere between, and that will also align with the daily the yellow line, the 21 being about here, or actually maybe here. I think it's going to be about there. And what that means for the weekly to catch up, which really is the big daddy of everything. The weekly allows you to make the best decisions possible. So if you only played the weekly and only referred to the 4-hour to know when to get in and get out, you're going to make more money than if you're looking at it. I mean, daily is pretty useful. So 4-hour daily, weekly are just really good. But anyway, but you need to base all of your 4-hour choices and guesses off of the weekly. So take a look here. So the weekly catching up means the 10. So bullish markets, they touch the 10, lift off, touch the 10, lift off. After a couple lift offs though, it has to deeply correct and hit this 21, which look what it did. It took off, had a huge run, 1,000%, and then what it had to do? It had to go all the way to the 21. But after smaller moves like 200, 300%, which is still huge, but in crypto it's not, it only needs to come down to touch the 10. So it touched 21 here. It has 2 weeks living above the 10. Look, this wick didn't come down to touch it. It got kind of close, but this wick just touched the daily 21, and the daily 20, like I said earlier, meets perfectly. See, it touched the daily. So this is a daily thing. So the daily MAs, moving averages, kind of have caught up. So these are half caught up, right? But the RSI is not caught up, the Stokes are not caught up. But so I would say on a 2-hour and 4-hour, we're fully caught up, ready for a push. But the daily, we're only like 30% of the way there, and the weekly, we're not there at all. And the weekly, to catch up, essentially what that means in a bull market, not a bear market, is the 10. The 10 needs to be close to price. Price needs to get really close to it. And look, price did not come down to check it. we've been living above it for 2 weeks. You can't live above the 10 for very long. 2 weeks is probably about it. So that's what it means to catch up on the weekly on the moving average. What does it mean for Stokes and RSI? Well, RSI, you know, it'll want to touch this white line. That's what that means. It'll want to, or bounce off of. So if the white line were higher by chance, what it means to reset is that the green line dips below it, hits the green line, and then goes back off of it. And so these move really slowly. This is by the week, so this doesn't change, but every 7 days. So in 7 days, you know, actually this current green spot right here where I'm clicking, that represents current. So if price were to tank all the way down, this segment, see this juncture here where it makes an angle, it would create a sharper angle, and because the week hasn't closed, it would create an angle like that. If we happen to tank. If we happen to skyrocket, the angle would change up, right? So this last juncture here can change. Similar to how on the 4 hour, when I was trying to record the first time, this juncture here, it was up. And in my video, I was saying that the way we break through is if price comes down, or if RSI comes down here as the white line's curling up, it needs to check it and then it'll lift off, but it didn't stay above. So, and since I recorded it, actually this juncture went down. But we did stay above. So, I don't know. It has a chance to break through, but I really don't think it will. Anyway, so on the weekly, we're not quite done. Right, so weekly, we know what the MA's catching up means. Stokes. Okay, so Stokes often come down to a specific level, similar to support. So it probably won't come down this low. Stokes like to make a quick curl on the weekly, though, in a bullish market. So what could happen literally for 6 months is if it would come down, curl, go back up, come down, curl, go back up. When you get a really deep correction after you made 3 liftoffs, then it'll go a little lower, but probably not even all the way down. It really, in bull markets, it might not touch here the entire time. But the daily will. The daily will come all the way down. So weekly Stokes resetting like here. Sometimes they stay above 65. 65 is a pretty good number. Let's just look what it does on BTC. Let's go to 2016 on the weekly. See, okay, perfect example. See how this, so it did come down to 50. So maybe it is a little higher. But up here, when you were pulling out of the bear market, it only went down to 55. So yeah, a little lower than what I said. Maybe not quite as high. I think I said 60 something. So yeah, so this is bullish. This is Stokes resetting. So if you're trying to find a good entry during a bull market, just look at where the Stokes last reset and wait till the Stokes are there. And if you want a really safe buy to try to get the best, you wait till the blue line, the faster moving one, crosses above. Enter right there. And you would have gotten in maybe at the wick of this candle before it went up. So you don't have to use price and moving averages to make your decisions all the time. Sometimes I play the Stokes or the RSI. And that's without even knowing what the price is. I just know that is probably my best entry, regardless of where price is. So that's Bitcoin. So let's go back to BEPRO real quick. Sorry. All right. When I record, my mute button doesn't work, so I would have muted, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, so that's weekly. So BEPRO, same idea. I think the same thing's going to happen. I promised somebody about SYLO. This would be, so the chance of this being an awesome time to buy SYLO is high. Really high. Now, however, to capitalize your money the best in small alts and crypto, it might be wiser to get, to put whatever available money you have into something that's lifting off now, putting in limit sell orders 50%, 40% above that. So you get your USDT then as this is falling. So not only do you catch something at a good price, but you've increased the amount of USDT to buy it. So is buying SYLO right now, is that something I would do? No. However, is this a good time to buy? Yes. But that's not my trading style. I'm a little bit more active of a trader. So if you don't want to be looking at charts daily, like maybe once a week, trying to grow your money, then this is a good time to buy it. Somebody like me, I would prefer to find something like Safe Haven, SHA ticker, or VRA. I don't know the name of it, but VRA that's lifting off now. I'm buying momentum. I put in limit sells for my 10 bag or whatever, and I do a quick in and out with a certain percentage, and then I come back to see, hey, does this have momentum up? No, still not yet. Okay, well, let me find another coin that's getting ready to blast off. So then I'll do it again. I'll grow it by 40%, have my limit sells, and look, and the SYLO ready yet? SYLO ready yet? And maybe price has gone from here to here, and you miss out on 8%, but who the hell cares? You just grew your bag by 40% twice. And if you do the math, that's a 96% increase. So 100% increase means double. If you 40% increase your bags twice, that's 4% less than double. It's 96% increase. So now you only miss out on 8%, but you're buying almost double, right? So you get a little cut. So maybe you're buying 1.75 times. Because you've doubled your USDT, you've only missed out on a little bit of price action. Who cares about catching this low? Buy the momentum. And before it has momentum, if you really want to get into SYLO, which is something I really want to get into, because you want your best buys are before something does 1000x. Like Fantom, it's already done its 1000+x. Buying it now is not going to grow. It's not going to make you wealthy. It's not going to change lives. It won't. And honestly, you're going to watch your money go down first. And even though Fantom fans, I know Fantom trade, I get it, but your money's going to go down first, and it's going to go down for at least a month, this whole month of March. I almost guarantee it. And if it doesn't, and it goes up, what's going to happen? It's going to go down even faster and more furious and for longer. So going down in price is actually a good thing in a bull market. You get to reset everything. And if you don't reset, well, your reset's going to be harder. Anyway, so that's how I play coins. And that's actually why I got it. That's why I was so happy that somebody commented a couple days ago about VRA and SHA, because that's my trading style. I buy momentum and I get a quick in and out, or within a week. And if I like the project a lot, I'll keep 80-90% in there, and I'll play with my 10 bag. And perhaps after volatility, I'll sell my 10 bag or 20 bag of it, and then I'll buy a dip because I know it's going to screen back up. So then I get a 40% again, right? And because I bought a dip like at the 4-hour 89 EMA, and while I'm waiting on SYLO, I got 40% twice on one single coin. I didn't even need to hunt. I just had to wait 3 days for VRA to dip, or maybe 4 days, and then in like 2 days, it's more aggressive bounce off, right? Typically, and then in that whole week, SYLO's still chilling here. It barely gets momentum, and boom, I buy, and I've doubled my bag, right? So that's my trading style. But if you don't want to be on a computer or a phone or whatever trading that much, SYLO is a good buy right now, because let's just go to Fantom again. The perfect time to buy. Look at this. Was when price, this is the weekly chart on Fantom, was when the weekly candle kept closing above the 10. It wasn't closing below it, and it still hadn't crossed. And guess what happened right when it crossed? Booyah! And what has happened since then? So if you got into Fantom, you decided, hey, look at this. This is bearish. We're closing all candles under the 10. You don't want to buy something like that. You don't. You wait. And look, I think this was like a 96% drop. 83% drop. Yeah, you don't buy it here. Just because it's low, it doesn't matter. It can go lower. You know, the perfect example. Oh, Fantom's so low. Fantom's so low. We started off at 4.5 cents, and we are, you know, we're at under a penny. This is a great buy. No, it is not. You are closing candles under the 10. Don't buy that. Greatest project. I don't care if it's Cardano. It's going to change the world. We're changing Africa, even though we're making promises for 4.5 years. But now we're talking about more promises about Africa. You don't buy it if it's under the 10. You don't do it. So closing. You know, I would have done it on the third one right here. If I had been tracking, I wouldn't have tried to catch a dip. Would I have bought it here after I saw a higher low made? Because it came up, came down? Maybe. But you don't know if it'll go up a little bit more and tank down, right? So let's see here. So this is all lower lows. No, it kind of made a higher low here. So see how low this is? It went up, made a higher low. So that's why if you're under the 10, you still don't want to get in because you haven't closed candles above the 10. You're not bullish until you're closing candles above the 10, weekly candles. So anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't have bought that because it's still going down. And so I would have bought maybe on the second or third closing about here. And check this out. Look at this shit. 15,000%. All right, so 88 cents, 0.00571. $154 times your money. So if you bought $1,000 worth of Fantom down here, you have $154,000 at the top. Right? Can you sell the top? Hell no. Stop dreaming that you can. But you can make goals for yourself. I'm going to sell when my bag is worth $100,000. Boom, you sell around here. You now have $100,000 freaking dollars. And since it's so early in the bull market, what can you do now? Now you can pick like 10 coins and put 10 grand in each of them. And if just one does the same thing Fantom does, now you have millions of dollars, right? So that's how I play. I don't have coin loyalty like, ooh, I'm going to hold my bag's generational wealth. Hell no, you're not going to get wealthy doing that. You're not. You cash out. Doesn't matter how much you like the project. Are you here to be loyal to a project that you've never even met the people and you've never even used their product? You know, maybe be loyal to Ford if you've driven a Ford for 10 years. All right. Buy their stock because you're a believer in it and maybe you got in a car accident and saved your family. Okay, that's loyalty. But crypto, don't be loyal. Don't feel loyal. Don't be like a Cardano diehard or a Fantom diehard. That's not going to make you wealthy. If you're here to make money, don't be loyal to a coin. Now that also means, you know, if you bought it way down here, maybe you don't want to crash the price because you're going to keep some in case it goes higher. You know, you don't want to like hit market sell millions of them or whatever is a high number. You know, you want to be doing limit sells so that you're creating liquidity up. All right, so you know, selling like $30 worth of it here, 30 a tiny bit higher, 30 a tiny bit higher, putting the sell orders so you're not hitting market sell. They're not selling immediately. Prices, you know, let's say you put limit sells here, and prices way down here. You don't know if it's ever going to touch it, but when it does, like in that situation, you are the person who created the liquidity so it can go up, and whatever portion of your bag that you don't sell, it goes higher because you sold in that way for a limit sell, right? So selling part of your bag actually can grow the other part of your bag because when you look at the order books, a lot of those, the sell orders that create liquidity to go up, that's fake. It's ghost orders. It's ghost orders. They will disappear. If somebody starts hitting buy, or whatever, they will just disappear. So, you know, if you go on KuCoin and you want to buy 150 bucks of something, right when you type in, you know, how much you want to buy, the bots are reading it. And if you look, a lot of the orders for a good price to buy it, they disappear. Right when even before you hit it, it'll disappear. Or sometimes what will happen, if it doesn't disappear then, if you want to buy in chunks because you don't want to raise price, you get $100 worth, and maybe some good prices that you didn't quite hit are still there, but you start typing the next time and KuCoin knows you're going to make another buy, they will get rid of their ghost orders so you cannot buy it. That's why doing sell orders with your 10 bag or whatever is really important, because a lot of the liquidity means you are allowing price to rise, almost like a fire. Like, imagine it like this. What is liquidity? Okay. So in a bull market, so this, yeah, let's just do this in bull market. It's like a fire, right? So if you build a fire that only has wood and kindling stacked up this high, the flame can only go up so high. Right? But with that same amount, so you take the same wood before it was caught on fire, and you do like a Titan Bright type of style where you stack, you know, like this, and so you make a column that goes straight up, and then, you know, whatever like paper or pine needles that you use to catch it, and you light it, that flame is going to go way higher because it had more to climb, and at the top, then the height of the flame can be higher based off the height of your wood, right? With the same amount of wood, like, it doesn't matter. So that's the difference between, like, if you want to sell, let's say 100,000 BEPRO, right? Don't just limit sell 100,000 BEPRO at a certain spot. Like, maybe break it down into 20 different orders, you know? So, you know, 5,000 here, 5,000 here, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. And what that does is, if you're playing with your 10 bag that way, as people hit market buy and all the ghost orders disappear, your orders are still there. It allows your fire to get higher. So your 80 bag or 90 bag, whatever, your bags, they get bigger. So selling can increase your what you don't sell, because there's so many ghost orders out there. So I'm going off on long tangents, but it's really important. I might kind of database that part of the conversation in terms of liquidity and what it does. So, and maybe your 10 bag, right? But anyway, what were we on? SYLO. So yeah, this is how I play. Don't be loyal to a coin. God, I went everywhere, didn't I? I just talked about a lot of shit. But it's all important stuff, and it's something, you know, I didn't put those pieces together quickly. This has taken me years to figure out, right? And so you're fortunate enough to be one of the, you know, one of the first followers of me, because I never imagined doing YouTube videos. I actually just made a YouTube video because Facebook, the only reason I did it is because in my BEPRO pump group, Facebook had a 25 megabyte limit, so I put it onto YouTube. I already had a YouTube channel for music, and I didn't really do anything with it past college. And like how many years ago? I don't know, 12, 15 years ago. And so I just uploaded it to there. And then when I got to the option post private or public, I just said, screw it, let's just make it public. So I don't have to, yeah, I just make it public. Maybe other people want to view it. And then this is what has happened because of that, because I couldn't upload something to Facebook. So life takes you in weird directions. Cryptillions and crypto crackheads. But life can take you in a wealth building direction if you are not loyal to a coin. I'm telling you. If a coin hasn't saved your life, or driven you, you know, 100,000 miles, you're here to make money, period. All right, so, and if you're not here to make money, then I guess you don't have to, you know, take my word for it. So there might be a very select few people who, like me, like, okay, so with Deep Onion, I'm buying and holding, I don't care, I run, I have the wallet open, I'm mining right now. That is one coin where I think in 10 years, when the idea of Bitcoin being a public ledger, and a lot of people catch on, yeah, I don't want my transactions on a public ledger. I think it might take about a decade. So that might be one point I never sell. Like, even though I could probably buy back way more, but I don't care. I want to create a lot of network power so I can keep that coin really going and safe. That's one I really believe in. So I'm not trying to make money with that coin. So maybe you do have one coin, so I'm kind of a hypocrite there. And it could make me very, very wealthy. The chance of that coin going like 500x from the point I bought it, I bought heavily at 5 and 5.8 cents, just under 6 cents. And so did my 11-year-old son. He was 9 at the time, or 9, no, he maybe just turned 10, but he had a savings, and I said, dude, buy Deep Onion, it's at a bottom. And so he's only seen triple his money from there. But anyway, and TE Food, he kind of mixed it up. But TE Food's gone like 8x since then. But anyway, so anyway, I do believe in Deep Onion, and that's something. So if you have your one coin, okay, but don't have much more than that. and don't have all your US dollars in it or whatever money you use, fiat, because you're not going to get wealthy that way, right? So I guess there are exceptions to that don't be loyal rule. So SYLO, is it a good buy? Absolutely. Is this how I trade? No. I'm going to do it when I'm going to do it as it's probably not going to lift off until first week of April, because this so I expect price to come up here soon, maybe next week, as the yellow line, which is the weekly 21, comes down. This red's going to start rising because we're closing above it, and I would buy it right as it's sandwiched like that. Price will be stuck in it. I'm going to buy right there. Yeah, because this is a bull market. I mean, in sideways markets like Bitcoin in 2019, 2020, I wouldn't do that. I would buy the momentum after it broke up or short as it went down. But this, everything's bullish, so I'm gonna wait till right there, because it has to go somewhere. I mean, it might be as long as, yeah, first or second week of April. It's gonna go. It's gonna have to. Assuming price doesn't dip down. If it dips down first, then this line will go like that, and it might take longer. Second, third week of April. So early April, early mid-April, this is going to take off. And just, I mean, go back to Fantom and BEPRO, right? So a fractals, but cross fractals. Fantom, I mean, look, price got sandwiched. Holy cow! Isn't it crazy how TA works? BEPRO. I think we've already, yeah, look at this. Look how sandwiched this got. This got sandwiched for 4 weeks, so it could be May for SYLO. And look at all the scares down. Look at that. But it doesn't matter. It was closing, well, this one didn't technically close above, but it's pretty close. I would still feel safe with that. So on, like, if you're looking at a 4-hour chart, you're going to get scared out. You're going to think it's going to make a lower low. That's why it's so important to, like, you start your decision making with the weekly every time. Like your base. Like, not I'm acting now and clicking decisions, but rather I'm starting here so that when I look at smaller time frames like the daily, the 4-hour, I have seen this first. Start with the weekly. Yeah, so sometimes I break that rule. But if you do break that rule and you're getting excited about the 4-hour, oh my God, it's going to pump, make sure you look at the weekly first before you click, right? So sometimes you can go back, you can back test, or not back test, but you know, you can make sure you're making a good choice before you click something on the weekly. But honestly, I would just start with the weekly. Okay, so gosh, what other stuff did I say I was going to mention? Oh yeah, VRA and, well, hell yeah, this is taking off. Yeah, this is gonna go. Sweet. Yeah, and so my plan with VRA is I'm letting this ride until SYLO is about ready to get some momentum. So I'm growing my bag for that. Bam. This is literally what I'm doing. I'm waiting for SYLO. And now, will I keep a good portion of my bag in VRA? Probably. Now that I've looked into it, I'm probably not gonna. So when I do limit sell orders, which I'll probably do on the weekly, and again, I don't really market sell people. Market selling maybe if you're entering a bear market, then, you know, sell everything before everybody else hits it. But anyway, yeah, I would put limit sell orders around here. I think this has a lot of momentum, and it's not going to get phased by this again. It already tested. So look at this wick up. It already tested that. And so you're thinking, well, and take a look, kind of how I mentioned buying a sort of chickens or lambs, it takes more chickens, and that's the BTC pairing, kind of that statement. Look, the US dollar value of VRA it's higher than it has been ever, right now. But look, it still hasn't touched where it just was on the BTC chart. Why? Well, that means BTC is going up. Shit, I haven't checked BTC. Maybe it passed that 52.5 mark. let me, yeah, so if price is that high and the BTC pairing's that low, that means Bitcoin's moving up. I'm kind of interested to see if it broke 52.5. It kind of looks like, oh God, it did. Shit. Look at that. It's not coming back down. It's liftoff time. Yep, closed the candle right at it, 52.4, and it started its candle above. This is going to make a new high. Is this a major fake out? Maybe, but it's very unlikely, because if bots try to trick people, and exchanges, you know, they run a risk of, if they try doing something and it doesn't work, they lose their money. Because so many traders and people who know what they're doing and people's bots are based off of an if-then statement. If price closes above 52.5 on a daily, then buy. Everybody's buying. So if exchanges want to try to crash and scare people out, they're probably going to get screwed, because remember that chiseling through a concrete, they have to chisel down. And the likelihood of them being able to chisel through all those buy orders because it closed there is very, like, they're not going to fake people out. Like, this isn't coming back down. This is probably going to go straight up to like 80,000 and maybe 76, 80. And the reason I say that is because I would just look at the run last time. I mean, just look at the average. Like, so after it hangs out, you know, under the 21. So let's just pick the middle of the candles. 70 and 80% run. Let's look before that. Hang out middle of the line, middle of the candles, 118% run. So let's pick somewhere in the middle of those two. So what did I say, 80, 170? Let's just pick like 105. Watch. Well, shit, this could pass 100,000 people. 105. 96. This isn't going to stop at 80. Maybe it will. Let me look at the weekly. But this is going to make it an all-time high. It's been lifted off above the 10 the whole time. Ooh, it hasn't touched the 10 since last year. This is so bullish, people. Oh my God. I never expected Bitcoin to lift off like this. I guess if you're going to get to 250,000, you kind of have to, but we're pacing to hit like 500,000. There is some serious money flowing into Bitcoin. I don't think this happened last time. So from red to red, 63 days. So crossing the 10 to crossing the 10, 112 days. $63 days. 56. It's kind of got a mixed bag there. So maybe there was one high one that would drive the average up, like 70 days. Touch the red about there. We're at 154 days. This is freaking insane. Wow. I'm so glad I'm into crypto. This is so okay. So as I said in my last video, all right, when altcoins go on huge runs, this is why how I play is so important, because if you're not catching a coin that has momentum up right now, you're losing out huge, right? So that's why it's so important to find coins with the momentum up. So like I said, when a coin breaks above all-time highs or breaks out of some formation and is approaching all-time highs, they scream faster when Bitcoin is going up. If they make the breakout and, you know, USD value is going up on that chart, but if that happens when Bitcoin's going down, right? You know, go back to the, what was I on, VRA? So if it happens, oh gosh, wrong one. VRA, Bitcoin. If it happens when Bitcoin's going down, the US dollar value won't scream as high because it will get up to this resistance faster. So look, we're at all-time highs and we're not even to the BTC chart even where it was, just a few days ago, because Bitcoin was going down. Bitcoin's going up and it's not even to that point, but price is way higher. So that's so it's gains on top of gains. So alts are getting ready to get hot as fuck right now. Alts are gonna hop, but only the ones that have the momentum. So, is SYLO goodbye? I mean, relative to everything else, hell no, it's not. But charting wise, if you are siloed in, I guess, if you're myopically looking at it, hell yeah, it's a good time to buy. Yeah, this is gonna go high. Alts are gonna get hot right now because Bitcoin can go straight to 100,000. And the ones that are popping, they're gonna pop freaking hard because, even before you get to resistance here, Bitcoin price is rising. So as it's oh my God, this is gonna get hot. Wow. Okay, so and so when you're trying to take gains in your coins, that's why looking at the BTC chart is so important. Like the BTC pairing for VRA or SHA, but also look at Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin going up? So I could just tell because price is so high in the US dollar, which this is the Bitcoin chart right here. And you saw me live. I had not checked Bitcoin the whole day today. I didn't know. But I could tell from this. Price was higher for VRA, but it hasn't even come close to this. So that means Bitcoin definitely passed 52.5. I mean, so you need to be able to make that connection yourself. And if I'm not explaining this part correctly, let me know, because it's really important to capitalize on your gains. I mean, it's really important. And the way it's important is because you need to know when to start taking profits, right? So I guess to make it simple, you take profits on the BTC chart if the BTC chart has price action left that is still higher than current price action, which in this market, it's almost for everything. Fantom, no, it's past all-time highs for the BTC and the US dollar pairing, stuff like that. So really, you don't know when to start taking profits. You just take profits slowly. I mean, you don't know. You don't know. I mean, let's just look at Fantom, right? So Fantom, BTC. Yeah, so after this, so on this candle, you don't know when to start taking profits. I mean, you can make, so now that you got a blue sky breakout, I would have set my goal for, what I would have done is I would have stayed on the BTC pairing. I wouldn't have even looked at the dollar. So once your blue sky breakout for both, I mean, if it has a BTC pairing, I would play that. No, once it's blue sky breakout for both, you could play either, whichever has a better pattern, but you can make goals for yourself. I'm going to sell whatever portion of my bag I want to sell. So let's say I want a 20 bag to play around with and take profits, or the whole damn thing, because I want to get out and then find another coin that has, that has some upward momentum now that I've expired the momentum of this coin. So the way I would have played on this blue sky breakout, maybe I would have taken some profits at around 100%, some at 150, some at 200, some at 250. So some of my profits would have been taken, way lower than they went, and some of my profits I would have aimed up here and they wouldn't have been filled. But that's when you market sell a little bit of it. That's one of the conditions I do market sell, and I would have market sold. I would have market sold, I think I said earlier that I would have done it over here. I think I would have been able, on the 4-hour chart, once this came down, came back up, and stayed below it, I would have waited for the RSI to try to tag this line. To get close, I would have sold right there. So at this candle, I would have sold it. So this is the BTC pairing, but I would have, so I would have taken profits all the way up, right? And some of my profits I would have tried taking up here. They wouldn't have filled. So I'm stuck with them, right? And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you just want to close your eyes, let it ride. But if you want to get rid of all of it, you've already sold 80% on the way up, right? Nothing at the top. Maybe a couple of orders were at the top, but only a tiny bit. And then if you really want to find the next coin that's about to have this momentum, or 10 options, now that you have hundreds of thousands of dollars if you bought back way when Fantom, I would have market sold the rest right as this ticked up, and I would have done it right there. So how much percentage from the top? It's only 20% from the top. That's the power of the 4-hour RSI. That's your signal. So you don't sell it as the angle's down. Why? Because price will come back up. It will. So, yeah, it just will. So if you miss a sell opportunity and it's crashing, don't worry. Don't freak out. Don't hit market sell. Don't panic sell. Price in a bull market, even if it won't go past its all-time high for 3 months, that's okay. Within a 2 or 3 weeks, actually, I mean, hell, how long did it take here? All-time high, came back up. So it's less than a day. Yeah. So this was scary. Shit, that's a lot of price action. Dropped 30%. Wow. So you don't have to wait that long. So just let it chill, cool its tits. It'll come back up. And you just kind of make a plan. Okay, if it gets close to the white line, I'm selling. Selling the rest because I took profits all the way up, right? All right, so what else are we covering here? SHA. Good, this is really healthy. So this is the 4-hour chart. So look, as I was expecting for BEPRO, so actually this is perfect. This is what I was saying in my earlier video. If BEPRO's gonna make new highs, this is how it does it. So the white line, so when I made that video that I'm not going to upload, BEPRO's, so this juncture, so from this juncture to that juncture, right? So where the angles change, this line here, it was up. And I said, if price is going to go through, it needs to come back down to test it. And at that point, the white line will be close to the green. So see this green line? And I said, it needs to test it and then it'll break through. And SHA is doing exactly that. This is bullish. This is probably gonna bust right through its all-time high because Bitcoin's going up. So this is gains on top of gains. This is gonna scream. This is gonna scream. And this could make like a 500% move from here. This could easily hit 2.5 cents without stopping here. This is gonna really scream. Because look how much 4-hour got to reset. It reset twice because it had to let the daily catch up. So let's just imagine, we're not looking at this price history. We're looking at from height down to low. Let's just see how things reset. All right, so your first clue when to get out, if you plan to get out fully, is, or when to so if you have been selling some of your 10 bag, limit orders, maybe you got some stuck up here that never got filled, your clue to get rid of the rest of the stuff that didn't get filled is 4-hour RSI dips below the green, or the green dips below the white. You let it, don't panic sell, wait for it to come back up. Price comes back up, and it usually gets a little bit close to the high. So just wait till it gets close to the high, sell the rest. And sometimes what happens is price will just scream back up. If it does, well, then you buy the momentum. Yeah, you're buying back slightly less, but the chance of that happening is pretty low when RSI has gotten that hot on the 4-hour. It's probably a good time to reset. And you can tell that more obvious from the daily. We haven't touched the daily 10 for a while. This probably isn't going to come down a tiny bit and scream back through, right? So you can tell. So I would have safely sold the rest of everything, of the stuff I wanted to sell that didn't get, my limit orders up here. I would have safely sold it right there where the RSI ticked up at this little green. That's a doji candle. See how you can't even see the candle? That's a doji candle. You can, you can see it right there, tiny. It's on the red line. I would have sold it somewhere in this candle. Maybe I would, yeah. And so since things ticked up for just a second, I would have sold it somewhere at this green, somewhere at the line. Now, thinking I would have sold at the top of the wick, you know, very unlikely. You just rarely get that lucky. Yeah, so resetting. So reset. So 4 hour, okay, 4 hour reset, which means the 2 hour already reset, right? So yeah, 2 hour already reset way back here, all right? But why aren't we just going up to the moon after the 4 hour, 2 hour? Because the daily has to reset. And the weekly has to catch up. So in bull markets, like I said, weeklies almost never reset in a bull market. They just ride high. Okay, but its reset is more like, you know, finds its support and then curls back up, whatever you're working with there. So the daily, pretty much in bull markets, you work with the daily reset, and the weekly tend to catch up. So anyway, the 2 hour and 4 hour reset by here, but you have to wait for the daily to reset. Okay, well, daily reset, it reset twice. Well, we're still resetting. Why are we resetting? Well, because this run was so big, the weekly had yet to catch up. See how this just snowballs, right? This is how you trade. Hologram, lots of time frames. And I'm just saying it in a different way. It snowballs. So, yeah, so you can't do much here. There's not enough price history. So what I was waiting for was the 10 to catch up. It's a bull market. You play the weekly 10. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, in a bear market, is it that simple? Hell no. Like, don't try to play a bear market. Get into US dollar, get into stable coins, or go buy a car. Take your money out. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. What else we got? I think that's about it. Let's see here. SHA, VRA, BEPRO. Let's look at Cardano. What is it doing on the Bitcoin pairing? Look, Cardano hasn't even gotten close to its all-time high. So on the BTC pairing, you would have been way better off buying Bitcoin. That's why I don't understand why Cardano holders are so, like, they think, yo, this chart clearly says you are better off in Bitcoin by a mile. It's not even comparison. It's not even close. The reason why its price, you know, got up to its all-time high. So look at its price. It essentially peaked through, it pierced through its all-time high. Yeah, so it barely went above. It went like 2% up, 8% above it. Actually, let's try to find out how many percent. 7% above. Yeah, so look, USD pairing met its all-time high. But on the BTC pairing, and where do you think, okay, so before we go back, this meeting the all-time high of its price, what do you think it coincided with when you look left on the BTC pairing? What do you think? What do you think happened? And I don't know, like I'm doing this on the fly. But I would bet it met resistance on a weekly candle on the BTC pairing, and that's why it didn't bust through. So let's go look. And so that's kind of what I'm saying. Using the BTC pairing, especially when there's price left that's still higher, which is likely because Bitcoin is going crazy. Bitcoin's stronger than everything. Yeah, I got it. Man, now it's making me think, man, I just should have kept Bitcoin and just leverage longed it. But there's a lot of money in altcoins, so maybe not. Yeah, altcoins are, yeah, because you can play. Like I said, my game plan is to buy momentum, to buy another thing and get out, buy something else at momentum. So that actually is way more money than holding Bitcoin. But anyway, so let's look. So when to take profits. And this is what I'm talking about. Watch. Hopefully I'm not wrong here. But the likelihood of me being wrong is pretty low, just like always. No, I'm just kidding. If you ask my wife, that is not a true statement. Or my daughter. Gosh, just like her mom. She's 9. She looks just like her, has the same middle name as her mom, born on the same day, born on her mom's 26th birthday. So weekly candle close, look left. Let's make it a line. Oh, can't fit it in there. Crap, that's what she said. All right, right there. Look at that. Candle, candle, candle. It's not a ton, but it's 3 in a row. And are there any other places on this pairing where you see 3 candle bodies align? So relatively, this is the strongest resistance. I would have guessed it would have topped out there. So if I were playing my profits on Cardano, I would have missed it, I would have guessed too high, and I would have had to market sell. After my 4-hour or my daily RSI went below the white line and came back up, I would have waited till it came back up and touched the white line and before it crashed back down. I would have tried limit selling between here and the wick. All my sell orders. So let's say I had $1,000 of ADA and I wanted to sell all of it to buy back aggressively later on a dip. So let's say I had $1,000, watch. So this is kind of like, this isn't necessarily straddling, this is like stratifying to create liquidity. But anyway, if you're very confident it'll ping off this, if you have $1,000, like maybe $50 here, 50 here, 50 here, 50 here, 50 here, 50 here, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, you get the point, right? So that's what I would do. And sometimes, actually not sometimes, just recently, I had like 20 pages on KuCoin of limit sells. 20 pages, because I was doing that on multiple coins. That's how you make money, people. Coin loyalty ain't gonna make you a lot of money. So, you know, if you want to turn $1,000 into $1 million during a crypto bull market, you can, but you can't do it just by buying a coin. Well, that's not true. If you pick like a 1 in 1,000 coin and you get lucky, you can. Something like Verge, last bull run, you would have had like 4.6 million bucks, even if you didn't even sell near the top. It's just where it made a lot of ranging near the top. You had plenty of time to sell. $1,000 would have been 4.6 million bucks, but there were very few coins. XLM, Stellar was another one that went like 1000x, you know. But the chance of your coin actually being that coin is very, very low. So would you rather have a low likelihood of turning 1,000 into $1 million or a high likelihood? Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Maybe you can leave comments down in the comment section. So that's what coin loyalty will get you. Low likelihood, right? And it'll be 0 likelihood if you bought Fantom now or Holochain now or Cardano now. 0 likelihood. It can't happen. The market cap's too high. Yeah, so look what I said. I would have guessed wrong here, but hindsight bias is 20/20. But relatively, this is by far the most resistance on the BTC chart because, no, this is 2, 1, 2, 3, and then support here. No, this is the most resistance. So this is the second most resistance. And let's take a look at what that did. What did I say about right here? Price didn't even stutter. Oh yeah, it did. Look at these wicks. Yeah, so price went up, came down, right at here. So it did stutter. It did. But since it had just played the 10 and almost came back to check it, that's how it had. So this is the power of the 10. Look. So, you know, it came up to that resistance, you know, fell. Came up to that resistance, fell. Or maybe it fell first and went up, and then it pinged off and then fell and came up. You'd have to open up the daily chart to tell, but it was one of those two. And look, it was right in that 10. Did it fully hit it? No, but since it stayed close, it didn't just lift off and lift off again, therefore it would have to crash down into it. It stayed close. So that's what gave it the power to push through this on the third try. 1, 2, stay close to the 10, booyah, third try. And a lot of times things don't break through until the third try. So because we lifted off and didn't check it, you know, went up, but, you know, and then and didn't check it again, and then came down, still didn't check it, and lifted off hugely, this is going to be a deep correction because things need to reset, including the weekly on this one. I mean, the weekly RSI is going to touch this white line. So if you want to know when to get back into Cardano, don't use, I mean, you could use price. I would use the USDG. I would use the weekly. Here's a good entry, 38 cents. I would put my buy orders at 38 and then some. It might only go down to 64. Best case was that 83 range that I've told other people. Yeah, because you got support resistance. Yeah, there's a lot of playroom. It might rest in the 80s, maybe. But because it's lifted off so many times, it's probably going to crash right through it. I would guess it's going to hit the 60s. Or what did I say? I don't know. I think 38 cents is like right around 40, just under 40. I think that's more probable. No, the weekly 21's already above. No, it's not. That's not the most probable. It's not going to dip down that much below. So kind of like I said earlier in the video, you need a most likely, second most likely, all that kind of stuff. So the most likely, I say, yeah, here, see this white line going up and down? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to line it up with the most amount of bodies and wicks as possible. So right here, around 65 cents. That's the most likely. Second most likely is the 80, like low 80s, and third most likely is comes all the way down here to like around 40 to 38 to 40. So those are the three most likely things. Now your two what ifs, well, maybe it just tags the 10 or gets close to it and does one more push, which it doesn't have any bearish divergence yet. Bearish divergence means price makes a new high, but RSI does not. Right? So it would look something like this. RSI comes down, and I'll just draw it. RSI comes down, and then Cardano's price in US dollars screams up, and RSI only gets to there. But price goes up to like $2.25, maybe higher. But that would be a good time to get the hell out, or maybe even short it if you can short it. I bet you can. It's the third biggest cryptocurrency in market cap. So that's a what if, but it could happen. I mean, it's probably that's like a 5% chance, especially with Bitcoin going up. Maybe it's higher. Like this might be a top 3. It could go up before it could create divergence. Let's see how much divergence we have on the daily though. Yeah, you have 3 strikes. Yeah, this is going to come down. This isn't going to make a new high yet, but it could. I bet there's a 5% chance it goes up before it crashes. And therefore, those numbers that I said, the likelihoods of meeting those levels changes. So there might be, a different set of supports and resistances that are higher up that then become the first, second, and third most probable, right? So even though those would still remain in like a top 5, but they might not be the top 3 anymore. So yeah, this could scream up. And for Cardano holders, I hope it does. Like I really don't have any. I hope no one loses money. I just talk about Cardano a lot because it's not the way to make money. You're not going to make much money, and your likelihood of you losing more money than what you started with is very high if you have coin loyalty, right? Because here, let me show you one more time what coin loyalty gets you. We bought Cardano. We believe in Cardano. 20 cents. All right, we have doubled our money. We're at 40 cents. Yeah. Uh-oh, what's Cardano? Okay, yeah. We love Cardano. Everybody loves Cardano. 98. Actually, it goes lower. There you go. It's 98.77%. Get out of the way. Wait till that white line hits it. Yeah, 98.8. That means $100 became $1.20. Coin loyalty. Don't do it. All right, this is not financial advice. I think we're done. But a lot of tangents today. I hope you found all of them valuable. And so the power of my doing this on the fly, it just, as opposed to some planned podcast, we have a list of this. Just if you're taking one thing from my videos, know that I'm pretty much doing them on the fly because I got a job to do. But and I have lunch to cook now and dishes to wash after I cook it, probably as my wife takes a nap. Because she's stay-at-home mom and I work from home, have for a decade. But anyway, I'm doing these on the fly, and as you're watching my channel, try to know that I am piecing this together live. And when you know, like, let's say I disappear because I moved to Bora Bora because I have tens of millions of dollars now. But that probably won't happen until January. But anyway, if it happens, I mean, shit, I could get stuck under 7 figures, who knows? But anyway, and you don't have me to like do this stuff anymore, right? Make sure that you are following how I piece this together so you can do it yourself. And that's why doing it on the fly is so valuable, because I am piecing it together. You know, RSI, Stokes, this and that. And during a bear market, as you'll see in the description section, or during corrections, the other indicators, you know, like Bollinger Bands, and especially in a bear market, or when to know if you're crawling out of a bear market, that accumulation distribution one, that I specifically tell you which one it is, because a lot of them will pop up if you look for it. Like, look where this indicator says. Like, this one will pop up, a bunch of them, right? So it's the line one's pretty good, but Krown uses this one, and I've pretty much learned from Krown. So Krown Crypto Cave, Krown with a K. So you can put a star by it. But anyway, this one. So this one I only use like monthly. And you know, if I delete Stokes, because I don't pay for TradingView, I don't need to. Oh wait, did I pick with markers? Okay, good, yeah. Monthly. You usually use it on the monthly. And with new coins, you can't do this. So when you're trying to figure out, so like, look, bearish, sideways, 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 sideways. Like, when do I get bullish on Bitcoin? When do I get bullish on Bitcoin? So this is like a macro indicator. Well, when the monthly gets a positive slope, that's when. That's freaking simple. Now, is there a ton of price action in the thousands of dollars up and down? So if you're leveraged long or leveraged short, you'll lose everything? Hell yeah. It's not like a no-brainer, but generally, you know, the market has turned around right there. Now, was it a good guess that the market had turned around right when it turned a positive slope? So look, it turned positive here. Look at the chart. Yeah. Look at that. Positive slope. Boom. That's it. That's simple. So trading can be simple. It's just if you are playing around wrong and making emotional choices or leveraging too much, which if you try to leverage trade, if you ever try it, start with like 3 and 5. And straddle. Don't just like try to find a bottom and long it like 10x there, because it's going to go down. You're going to get liquidated. You lose all your money. So if you think price, for example, if you're trying to like, if you really want to get a leverage long and you don't want to wait till it comes up here and leverage with momentum, which is the way to do it. If you're trying to like, hey, there's a key level here, you know, if you see a key level and it makes perfect sense to leverage long when it hits it, like here, actually the origin line, this would have been great. I mean, price still, it came down 300, you know, a couple $100 or $100 below it. And if you leverage really long, you know, and it goes down $100, you can get liquidated depending on how strongly you leverage. Because when Bitcoin's only $3,400, right? $300 is 10%. 10% dip, you're done with high leverage, right? So for example, so straddling orders with leverage is pretty dang similar to what I keep telling you about straddling orders with your 10 bag. If you really think it's going to come down, hit this level, and bounce off, and you want to go long, I would only put like 15% of my leverage here. I would put, 15% here, 15% here, 15%, something like that. And maybe put just 5% on top in case it almost touches it and comes up. You only get a tiny bit of it caught, but it's always more likely that it crashes through so you don't get liquidated, right? And then if price doesn't come down to it and goes like this, well, then you leverage along with the momentum, which is the way to do it anyway. So anyway, that's my ramble. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. Hopefully you found this helpful. And yeah, crypto crackheads and cryptillians, we will catch you next time.